The comedian and actor Russel Brand has been accused of rape, sexual assault and emotional abuse during a 7-year period at the height of his fame. The allegations were made in a joint investigation by the Sunday Times, The Times and Channel 4's Dispatches programme. 4 women are alleging sexual assaults between 2006 and 2013. Here's one of Russel Brand's alleged victims speaking to Channel 4, and let me warn you that there is some distressing and sexual language within this clip.
He's grabbing at my underwear, pulling it to the side. I'm telling him to get off me, and he won't get off. Like holding me up against the wall, pushing himself in me.
He grabbed me and got me on the bed. I was fully clothed and he was naked at this point, and he held me down and he was just aggressively trying to, me.
I was like, oh my God, he raped me.
He forced his penis down my throat and I couldn't breathe. It was just choking me. I was crying and he said, oh, I only want to see your mascara run anyway.
Now, Russel Brand has denied the allegations and said his relationships have always been consensual. Here he is in a video he recorded yesterday.
I've received 2 extremely disturbing letters, or a letter and an email, one from a mainstream media TV company, one from a newspaper, listing a litany of extremely egregious and aggressive attacks, as well as some pretty stupid stuff like my community festival should be stopped, that I shouldn't be able to attack mainstream media narratives on this channel. But amidst this litany of astonishing, rather baroque attacks are some very serious allegations that I absolutely refute. These allegations pertain to the time when I was working in the mainstream, when I was in the newspapers all the time, when I was in the movies, and as I've written about extensively in my books, I was very, very promiscuous. Now, during that time of promiscuity, the relationships I had were absolutely always consensual.
During the years covered by the allegations, Russel Brand had various high-profile jobs at different times, including at BBC Radio 2 and Channel 4, and as an actor in Hollywood films. Other claims made as part of the investigation include allegations about Russel Brand's controlling, abusive and predatory behaviour. Again, let me stress, allegations at this stage. He is undoubtedly one of the biggest stars in the world, and this is a scandal that could potentially destroy his career and rock the world of showbiz to its core. So in the course of the next 60 minutes, we'll speak to top industry insiders and stars, and we'll bring you Fleet Street reaction when the papers drop at 10:30. But let's now speak to the highly respected entertainment journalist, a regular pundit on Mark Dolan tonight, and someone that's been across this story for a couple of days now, Tayki. Stephanie, I wish we welcomed you under happier circumstances. Can you give us a sense of the scale of this story, in terms of the scale of star that Russel Brand is and the allegations being made about him?
Well, Mark, a storm has actually been brewing for the last 8 days for Russel Brand, because that's how long he's been sitting on these allegations and knew that it was about to be made public. For the Sunday Times and for Channel 4 for Dispatches, they've actually been working on this story for a year. So as you can imagine, they've gathered all this evidence and now they've dramatised it, where, as Russell said, it's disturbing, these allegations, and to watch these allegations from these 4 different women is also harrowing to hear. All of the accusations they've brought against Russel Brand since 2006. He's always been a controversial character, so it's no surprise when we're talking about rocking the world of showbiz, we've had more squeaky, clean-cut characters who we did not expect this from. Russel Brand has always been open about his sexual addictions, his addictions to porn. But what these accusations have done, they've taken it to the next level, where we're hearing the other side of the story for the women who have felt abused, raped, assaulted. That's where the shock factor has come in with this story.
Do we know whether at any point the police have or will get involved?
Well, Mark, the latest which I've heard is that police are going to have to get involved after the finishing of the airing of this film, because this drama, should I say, or documentary, because there's so many accusations there. We've had accusations of grooming, we've had accusations of rape. These women their lives have been destroyed about what's happened through Russel Brand's supposed actions and alleged actions. So police are going to have to investigate. And like with the Philip Schofield story, Mark, there is that question of duty of care. From what I've seen so far, we've had young women who've worked on production sets with Russel Brand, and they've been abused according to their reports. So that's stuff where we're going to have to look back at the media landscape and be like, if it is true, why was this allowed to happen? Who turned the blind eye in such situations?
Indeed so. Russel Brand has denied the allegations. Of course, he's got a massive following. He is one of the biggest stars in the world, isn't he?
It's business as usual for Russel Brand. He's in Wembley right now, performing to an audience of 2,000 people. He very much sees this as an orchestrated and coordinated media attack on him and his lifestyle. He's made a transformation over the past few years. He's gone from being Russel Brand, the sex addict, to becoming Russel Brand, the cultural activist. He's been very clear. He's been controversial speaking about the vaccine mandates, COVID. So for him, he feels like his freedom of expression is why he's now being silenced by the media. As we've seen in many cases recently, Mark, it becomes a big witch hunt.
Yeah. Well, I'm delighted to say that Stephanie is with us for the hour. She's across this story and gathering more information as it comes in, so you won't miss any aspect of this story and those shocking allegations that are coming in thick and fast. Will others step forward? What are the implications for Russel Brand's career, even if proven guilty or not guilty? Now, let me reiterate at this stage that Russel Brand refutes all of the allegations. He's done so on his own show. He's got 6 million viewers on an internet site called, I think it's called Rumble. And look, the guy has an audience, he's got his fans, but these are worrying allegations. And certainly, I think you'll agree, based upon that clip we've just seen from Channel 4, very, very distressing testimonies about these alleged crimes. Let's now speak to actor and presenter Christopher Biggins. And Christopher, just a shocking story.
It is a shocking story, and it's very worrying too, because I think, you know, accusations come very freely nowadays, it seems. And the interesting thing is, why have they taken 10 years to come forward? Surely this is something they should have discussed and talked about when it happened, if it happened, because it is disgraceful. I mean, it was very distressing listening to those girls talk about it, but that was only their side of the story. And he, obviously, in that clip, absolutely refutes it, says no. This didn't happen.
Well, indeed. So, I mean, sometimes crimes happen and it does take victims a while. Sometimes there's a legal process. There can be injunctions, not necessarily in the case of Russel Brand, but you never know what the legal or indeed criminal background to these allegations are. But you know, you do wonder, don't you? I mean, Russel Brand's main defence seems to be that really he's dropping truth bombs on the internet, and therefore, you know, they're out to get him, as it were, that he's made himself unpopular, made himself a target. He's had some supporters online, including Michael Barrymore, who just quote tweeted his video refuting the allegations. And Barrymore said, this is what they do, I suppose, in relation to the media.
Well, I mean, especially if you've suffered like Michael has. I mean, his career was completely ruined. And he was he really was a huge star. And that was unbelievable that his career could suffer that much from what happened. I mean, he made a big mistake, which was running away from the scene of the crime, but I mean, you know, the whole thing, a man died. I mean, it was awful. But I mean, you know, there's so many things nowadays that are happening. The Cliff Richard thing, you know, which was disgraceful.
When the BBC sent helicopters to his house,
yes,
invaded his privacy, and of course the guy was guilty of nothing.
Absolutely.
When it comes to Russel Brand, I think that people getting online and either defending him or attacking him are missing the point. What we need now is legal due process. And that's what needs to happen. Don't you think the authorities need to step in, the police need to step in, look at the allegations, investigate, and give Brand a chance to clear his name and give those alleged victims justice if they are victims?
I mean, also, absolutely. And do we need to know that Russel Brand's name at this particular junction? I know that we do.
Quick one before we get to the break. If Russell rides out this storm and is able to disprove these allegations. Does his career recover, or is the damage done?
No, I think his career will recover. I really do, because I think nowadays people are aware of what goes on with the public and with celebrities.
Christopher, thank you so much, and delighted to say you're also with us until 11.